Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Burniston Auto Wrecking in Burniston, Mass. with the story of the Dodge Ramcharger. No, not this, but kinda. Now here's the thing, of course, the Chevy Blazer and the Ford Bronco and the International Scout started the SUV market segment. Of course, the Jeep really started it all, but those are the major players. Well, Dodge in 1974 says, we gotta join that party. And then initially they called their vehicle the Rhino during development. But as they got closer and closer to actual release in 1974 model year, they said, Rhino might imply slow, lethargic, not good. Let's try something else. How about Ramcharger? Well, the crazy thing is, on those first few years, the Dodge Ramcharger four-wheel drive and some two-wheel drives had the same logo, same font, same italics as the factory drag team of 1962 through 68. So you got to wonder, did the Ramchargers have a say in the creation of the Ramchargers truck? And did they get a paycheck from that? I don't know. A lot of those guys still worked at Dodge into the mid-1970s when the Ramcharger was being built. But this is the second generation Ramcharger and the second generation Ramcharger logo. But again, the first few years, this would have been a red italicized Ramchargers, just like the side of their funny cars. But anyway, here we have the second gen. Now, Ramchargers were made between 74 and 1996, but this is a second gen made between 1981 and 1996. We know it's a second gen because it has an integral body. Again, the first gen, those 74 through 80s, had an unboltable fiberglass roof just like the Blazer and the Bronco. But again, for 1981, here we have the integral roof. Now, one thing that separates the Ramcharger from the Bronco and the Blazer is how the rear side glass wraps up into the roof. It may not look like much now, but this was super trick when these things were out as new vehicles. But here's the rub. If you study your Pontiac Firebird Trans Am show cars, a little something called the Camback Wagon of 1978 had identical wraparound windows on the back. Now, the Camback Trans Am was a station wagon Trans Am. I guess Pontiac made 5 or 6 of them, something like that, but their trademark was the wagon body and wraparound glass, and Dodge cribbed this for sure from the Trans Am Camback when they came up with the second gen Ramcharger from 1981 through 1996. Now this one here has a 9 1/4 Chrysler rear axle. There it is right there, and that 9 1/4 was also used in Imperials and even 1974 Dodge Chargers, 75, so it's a pretty tough axle. The 9 1/4, of course, refers to the 9 1/4 inch ring gear inside, a big brother to the 8 1/4. Under the hood, these second gens from 81 through 96 have nothing but small block V8s. No 6-cylinder engines, although the first gen get a slant 6, 318, 360, 400 small block, a big block, and even a 440 in 1974. It was possible to get a 440 powered Ramcharger. But as we get into the second gens, this one here shows 5.2 liter. That's the T-code engine, so 318 two-barrel. Unfortunately, not a lot of power. But again, it was the early 80s. But something kind of weird on this one is what's called the CAD front axle. It's a Dana 44. Here's the axle itself right there. But fuel economy was a key consideration, especially with something that weighed nearly 4,000 pounds. So what they had was this thing here. That's called the CAD, Central Axle Disconnect. This vacuum hose here, this rubber hose, activates and disconnects the spider gears, so the ring gear and pinion don't turn in the differential and the front tire's freewheel with minimal rolling resistance. So again, CAD or CAD or Central Axle Disconnect seen right there on this Dana 44 front axle. Now here's the front of the small block Torque Flight 727 right there. Not a lockup, that would come a couple more years later, but that's a 727 3-speed. Now something kind of cool is that in 1978, as this magazine here, this off-road magazine, January of 78 issue shows, Dodge trucks were a big deal. Beautiful stuff, great graphics, again, playing into the Trans Am Pontiac theme of putting stickers on vehicles to add some sex appeal. But inside of this one, a full 10 years before the Cummins diesel program arrived, here we have a prototype Dodge diesel pickup truck. So the word was Mitsubishi 6-cylinder diesel engines were going to be used in Dodge trucks. And we can see right here, there's one on the right in the center. And at the bottom, it says, first plans called for 4,000 Mitsubishi-powered Dodge trucks for 78, but production is expected to exceed that figure. Well, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen one. So it's kind of weird that in the mid-70s, when fuel economy was the key thing, Dodge was toying with diesels, as was everyone else. International had them in their Scouts. But I'm not sure that a diesel ever wound up in a Ram. Maybe you do. Let me know if that's the case. But anyway, the vast majority of these things were gas-powered, either 318 or 360 as you get into the second gen. So inside this puppy, we'll go around to the back. And these do have, again, this is an integral roof. It's not a bolt-on deal. And it's almost like a miniature Suburban in a way. But inside the back, plenty of room. These have a lift gate, kind of a cool little deal, and plenty of room inside. This one does have the velour and carpeted interior, probably an SE, which is, of course, special edition. The base model would have rubber back here. Yes, you could still get a very base one. And check this out. Back when the Ramcharger first came out in 1974, the passenger seat was extra cost. By 1981, and this 1983, I think this one is, the passenger seat was standard. Now, inside this one, we do see things like power windows. So this is absolutely an SE or special edition, top of the line. And this is the power window switch right here. Inside, it does have the automatic, the torque flight. We saw that under the hood. There's the shifter for the 2-speed transfer case, actually 3-speed, 2 high, 2 low, 4 low, et cetera, et cetera. But again, an automatic in this one, the torque flight. And, but a pretty posh vehicle, but the bones of a 1974. And again, these things ran all the way to 1991. These were built in Mexico, by the way. From the very beginning, I believe these were done in Mexico, or at least for the second generation ones at the Mexican plant there that Dodge owned and ran. But again, here we have an X-ray cutaway, and these are body on frame. These are not unit construction vehicles, and these are based on a shortened D-Series pickup truck frame and chassis. So again, a pretty rugged vehicle. But again, the Dodge Ramcharger, did the Ramchargers, Jim Thornton, Tom Hoover, Coddington, all those guys, did they get a paycheck? I don't think they did. Yet another thing where the Ramchargers, the drag racers, the factory engineers did a lot to help the company. Maybe didn't get the monetary rewards, but we remember who they were. At least I do. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Mag's YouTube channel. There's plenty more to come here at Bernardston Auto Wrecking.